In this video, we are discussing the demerits of immigration. Certainly, immigration has many advantages, but also it comes, just like with any human process, comes with demerits. And here we are looking at just a few of those demerits. Now, the first one is the fact that it does take away jobs, from the native-born citizens, and that can create resentments in society, resentment in society that can lead to disunity in society, and this can further polarize, right? Polarize the society, and when that happens, you have a disjointed and a society that is really not harmonious, doesn't have harmonious coexistence. And you don't want that. And so this is a threat of immigration, because the native-born citizens feel threatened. They feel their position in the workplace, in society is threatened. With demographic shift comes, perhaps changing of the norms, changing of the established traditions, culture, etc. of society. And this is a concern to many native-born citizens in any given country, whether it be the U.S., Canada, UK, Germany, etc. It doesn't matter, because these native-born have established their tradition, and they may feel that immigrants coming in with their own tradition and culture and even religion may threaten their own very core beliefs. The other issue to consider is communication. And this is a very important issue in the workplace, especially in the workplace, where good communication is very important to accomplish goals and objectives. And with communication issues, then it is very difficult to be productive, and it's very difficult to rise in the workplace as well, because good communication often leads to more responsibilities, and more responsibilities will often lead to opportunities, and so forth. And so communication becomes a key issue here, and that also brings another issue of training. Another issue of training, language training, that is often very costly. And governments, in some cases, governments support this effort, organizations support this effort, but nevertheless, it's a very costly endeavor. And so when you have a society where communication is really not effective, you have breakdown in communication and misunderstanding, and that can lead to societal conflict. And sometimes even the nuances might also be misunderstood and will lead to societal conflict. And we have many examples in societies around the world, especially in Western societies. And along with the communication issue is value conflicts. And of course, these immigrants are coming in with their own values from around the world, values that may not be in line with established norms and culture and tradition in the country they're immigrating to. And oftentimes what happens then is, because of this value conflicts, you have ethnic silos. And ethnic silos here is not a very good thing, because the suggestion is there's no communication amongst the different groups in that society that occupy that land space, that space. And you need to have part of the benefits of immigration, part of the benefits of multiculturalism is to have interculturalism, right? Interculturalism, where all of the groups in society are communicating. They are communicating, they are exchanging ideas, and they are getting along in harmonious coexistence. That is when you truly have a multicultural society. But that can happen if there are value conflicts. And here, then, the way to go about this is compromise. It's compromise to ensure that everybody keeps their values, but yet the dominant value, respecting the dominant value, and also respecting the fact that these are established norms and nuances in that space. Also, we look at lower standards, which becomes a very key point, especially within the context of the workplace. And some immigrants, certainly not all, but some immigrants come in with lower standards as a result of the environment they're coming in from, and they bring those lower standards and continue the trend in the new country. And of course, this can impact productivity, and this also speaks to ethics in the workplace, and the ethics of some immigrants, again, depending on where they're coming from, may not be the ethics of the place of the new country they are in. Work ethics, for example, we're talking about, and this may impact productivity as well. And this may impact their ability to move on, their ability to be to advance in their profession, in their career, because they simply don't have the ethics that are expected in the workplace. And so these lower standards become critical. And just like communication, there has to be training, there has to be reorientation, there has to be awareness and knowledge and information to ensure that as immigrants are coming in, they learn the ethics of the workplace. They learn the expectations of the workplace. They learn how things are done in the workplace. For example, definitions of things in the workplace, like what is sexual harassment, because depending on where you're coming from, the definition of sexual harassment may be different, and they need to know these things. And this is where value conflicts become very critical, because when information is not there, and when awareness is not there, they continue in the trend as if they haven't left the country. Then there is conflict. There is truly conflict in society. There's truly conflict in the workplace, and conflict never serves anyone any good purpose. And so this is important to note. That lower standards can impact productivity in the workplace, and of course, if it's impacting productivity in the workplace, it's impacting a whole lot of things, including the output, the economic output in that society, in that country, that ultimately may impact the GDP of that country as well. Now, all of these facts are connected, especially when you have a whole scale issues about productivity owing from lower standards, lower expectations, maybe poor skill level, etc. And the final point here is high cost of training of new immigrants, and especially with the settlement programs. And this could be problematic for a lot of countries, especially in times where resources are scarce. And so if the resources are not there to train these immigrants in terms of the ways of that country, language training, cultural awareness training and programs, integration programs, etc. If the resources are not there, and then effectively you have two societies. And two societies are really not the way to go, especially in this age of globalization. And then they revert to ethnic silos. And ethnic silos here suggest that immigrants are more comfortable in their own environment, in the environment of their community, and they remain in the community without interacting. And that is as if they never left their country. And that is not a good thing. And so the things that will give them confidence, things that will give them confidence to integrate in society are the trainings that they will need. the skill training, the language training, the cultural awareness, the confidence boosting programs, etc., that will give them the opportunity to learn about the new country, about the society of the new country, about the norms and especially the nuances, those things that are in between, in the gray areas, to learn those things so that they can truly integrate and have interculturalism rather than just multiculturalism that doesn't lend itself to integration as much, but rather lends itself to ethnic silo.